have to decide how much do we want to find out.
President Trump says he's directing his administration to take immediate action against Colombia's president and his supporters, including tariffs, a travel ban, and visa sanctions. The move comes after Colombia denied entry to 2 C-17 military planes carrying undocumented immigrants, forcing the planes to turn around midair. Colombian President Gustavo Petro said Sunday that the U.S. cannot treat migrants as criminals and that Colombia would accept migrants on civilian planes.
20 minutes later.
It seems like the Colombian president has already caved to President Trump's threats here.
He said he will use the presidential jet from Colombia to fly Colombian citizens back down to Colombia.
The more you around, the more you're going to find out.
Guys, Donald Trump is shaping up to be one of the best presidents, probably the best president in the United States history, because the president of Colombia effed around and found out today he tried to deny these flights that were already previously approved to enter the country, military planes full of illegal immigrants that came to the United States fraudulently against the asylum rules, against immigration law. They effed around and found out. And same thing for this president, because he denied the plane's entry and then tried to say it was undignified and all of this stuff and that he wasn't going to accept them. And Donald Trump has something to say about that. As a matter of fact, this is what he said here. I was informed that 2 repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. So these were not just illegal migrants. These were the criminals. Remember, they were supposed to go after the criminals first, like the people who, on top of having the illegal immigrant criminal stigma, they also were criminals that committed crimes in their home nations and in the United States, or one or the other, or both. So this order was given by Colombia's socialist president, Gustavo Petro, who was already very unpopular amongst his people. Petro's denial of these flights has jeopardized the national security and public safety of the United States. So I have directed my administration to immediately take the following urgent and decisive retaliatory measures: emergency tariffs on all goods coming to the United States. In 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%. Crazy, right? Like, damn, that's high as hell. A travel ban and immediate visa revocations of the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters. Visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government. Enhanced customs and border protection inspections of all Colombian nationals and cargo on national security grounds. IPA, treasury, and banking financial sanctions to be fully imposed. These measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to acceptance and return of the criminals they forced into the United States. Okay, so almost immediately the Colombian president got punked out. Okay, Donald Trump made him his little witch, because this guy immediately turned tail and decided that he was going to go ahead and offer a private plane for illegals. This was so freaking hilarious. I'm going to go ahead and react to Live Now from Fox. Hopefully no copyright claim, guys. So I'm a big fan of you guys at Live Now, so no copyright claims here. I'm going to go ahead and react to the video of them discussing how Donald Trump completely punked them.
Sending flights to down to Colombia and other places. But the interesting thing is that they've been using military flights. Of course, the military is very responsive. They can get the military stuff set up very quickly, and they did. And Colombia's president took great exception to that. Gustavo Petro, he's more of what's considered a left-wing socialist politician in Latin American politics. And I'm not just saying that. He describes himself as a socialist as well. And so he kind of pushed back. He says, hey, this is not dignified. I don't want military flights down here with Colombian citizens coming down from the United States. It just doesn't look right. And he pushed back, says, we will not accept them. And so President Trump turned around and said, well, we're going to slap a 25% tariff on all Colombian goods coming into the U.S. And if we don't resolve it in the week, it's going to go up to 50%. Well, this would have catastrophic economic implications for Colombia. And so he immediately turned around, and I won't say completely turned around, but he definitely turned around. Some would say partially.
Look, I would disagree. It seems like a pretty big turnaround to me.
I would say if it wasn't a 180-degree turn, it was probably close to a 170-degree turn. He said he will use the presidential jet from Colombia to fly Colombian citizens back down to Colombia. But with that said, having a U.S. military plane, he found politically offensive in some ways, and or certainly, it has a certain appearance to it that's different than a civilian airliner. And so he's pushed back kind of, but if you say the presidential plane, by the way, there is no rapid way to refit the presidential plane.
Think about how surreal that would be, that you're coming back on a presidential plane. And I just want to wonder, the president there of Colombia, he thought it would be disrespectful to come back on American military planes, but now coming back on his own presidential plane, is he worried, do you think, about maybe what condition it's going to be in when it arrives back?
I think at this point, he's just so desperate to stop the 25%, the 50% tariff schedule that I don't think he's worried about it. And by the way, one of the things that is at the disposal of the president that he can make a quick decision on is releasing his own plane for any purpose. So I think that may have been part of it. It was a quick, I've got to do something sort of reaction. And so I'm sure in the back of his mind, he is a little concerned about the condition of the aircraft after it gets done with certainly a number of flights back and forth. But I think also there is now negotiating room now that he has made the decision to basically back down and allow flights to go and included his own presidential aircraft in there. I see where there's a lot of negotiating room with
I hear what they're saying, but guys, this wasn't him doing something that he felt like was more dignified, because he didn't offer this to begin with. He could have had offered this. He didn't, because he didn't want the people back to begin with. But now that Donald Trump forced his hand, now he's trying to do something to look like, well, hey man, he didn't punk me out. I just wanted them to fly a little bit more dignified. Like, this guy's, is no way you can erase this. Okay, you can't pretend as though Donald Trump didn't put his big old piece of meat, he took and slapped that damn thing on the table and said, bask in the glory of my amazing sausage. And take these immigrants back. Take these freaking illegal aliens back before I slap you with it. Whoosh. Dumb behind AOC. I'm gonna show you what she had to say. Okay, she's on here saying, to punish Colombia, Trump is about to make every American pay even more for coffee. Remember, we pay the tariffs, not Colombia, which doesn't make any sense. A tariff is literally the other country having to pay for their imports on the goods, right? We don't pay the tariffs. She's presuming that the prices are going to automatically rise, which doesn't make any sense. Like, the way prices work on goods and services is you cannot just automatically raise prices and assume that people are going to buy it. It makes absolutely no sense, and any Democrat or anyone who thinks this is stupid. If you have prices, a lot of the time you do things to try to adjust, and one of those things isn't always raise the price to match the exact amount of the cost. It just doesn't happen. Case in point, video games. Video games a lot of them have costed $60 for like decades, and the cost of them has went up like 100-fold, and they still cost roughly $60. They found other ways to make money with the microtransactions and stuff like that. So it's not always as simple as, you just pay more. Like, that's just stupid. But anyway, Trump is about to make inflation worse for working class Americans. It's always what Trump is about to do. What about what Trump actually does? For working class Americans, not better. He's lining the pockets of himself and the billionaire class. Okay, obviously AOC wrote this before she knew what the hell she was talking about, before she found out that the president had already caved and that the tariffs may not be necessary. Now, I don't know for sure, because if we're sending flights back, in my opinion, they need to take the damn flights. Like, who knows what type of delays that they may put onto their own stupid flights. We need to get this done lickety split. But in my opinion, we should be doing both. You send your plane to pick up migrants. We send, look, they come on back on your plane, and we send our plane. Hey, double or nothing. Let's go. Colin Rugg on X posted an entire sequence of events here. Colombia abruptly rejects 2 military flights carrying illegals after previously approving them. Trump goes golfing at Trump National Doral Golf Club in Miami. Trump sends out a post on Truth imposing 25% tariffs on Colombia. Colombia quickly responds and offers up the presidential plane to help repatriation deportees. Trump posts AI photo of himself with the text, F around and find out. This text here, which is undoubtedly the thumbnail for this video, which is hilarious. This is from Donald Trump. He posted this himself on Truth Social, which is freaking crazy. And the whole time, Donald Trump is playing golf here. Taking care of business every day. This is what's freaking hilarious. This guy literally was playing golf while over here smacking and clapbacking at the woke behind Colombian president, saying, hey, you're going to do what I tell you to do. Okay, this is America. We run the show. You need us more than we need you. Take these illegals back or else. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what real leadership looks like. I think this is completely hilarious. This guy effed around and found out, and let this be a lesson to anybody else out there who wants to play games with these illegal migrant criminals. Take them back or else you're going to be next. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching. A Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
If you stayed on here and you never around, you'll never find out.